all the time. I don't really care about that. Real ones on my side, I can guarantee you that. Yeah, if you out of line, put you back on track. Fuck you, fuck you. Hear you all the time, I don't really care about that. Real ones on my side, I can guarantee you that. If you out of line, put you back on track. Fuck you, fuck you.
I'm so tired of the body objectification of a camera scanning from toe to head of a character. He's a corpse for Pete's dragon's sake. I don't care how dead sexy you find Jorah, enough of this pale gaze.
Whatever the hell that was.
Once again, I'm bemused by the lighting choices the show makes, as it's resulted in Theon looking 1,000% more ginger than he actually is. And even more bafflingly, makes Sansa look like she gives a shit that he's dead.
Theon saved Sansa from Ramsay Bolton for fuck's sake. But you're holding the belief, for some stupid reason, that she shouldn't care about his death?
We're here to say goodbye to our brothers and sisters.
Only 2 of them were really all that important, and honestly, even they were fairly dispensable. But hey, there's probably at least 3 seasons of the show left, so no rush in doing anything too dramatic.
Are you kidding? None of the people that died were important. You don't need to lie and say that a few of them were. You can be honest here. This is a safe space.
Everyone in this world owes them a debt that can never be repaid.
But the reward for those who fought and survived is to march through the snow for 2 weeks to fight another war that also ends up being decided by a dragon anyway. Honestly, I think cremation may actually be preferable.
What's your point here? That everyone should just retire now that the long night's over? 'Cause honestly, everyone should have retired after season 4, not now.
For as long as men draw breath.
You know who should draw breath? The CG artist. How am I supposed to believe it's cold out here when I can't even see anyone doing any atmospheric vaping?
Maybe it's just not cold enough for us to see their breath. I mean, the way the long night apparently just kind of ended when the Night King was stupidly killed, I wouldn't be surprised if Winterfell is in the 80s right now.
I was kind of hoping to see the awe and expanse of this funeral, but they died as they lived, shrouded in frustrating darkness.
That was a pretty funny joke about the Shroud of Darkness, but the actual complaint in that scene was kind of weird, seeing as there really wasn't anything more to see of the funeral.
Have you seen Arya? You can still smell the burning bodies, and that's where your head is at.
Clegane is a dick to Gendry's head.
Discount Jeremy says boner.
You are aware he took my family's throne and tried to have me murdered.
Daenerys spends about 3 minutes trolling Gendry before awarding him a lordship instead of just getting to the good part.
What do you mean, good part? There is no good part. Also, you missed the real sin with the whole Gendry situation, which is that Daenerys just legitimized the son of King Robert, doing nothing besides endangering her own claim to the throne.
What kind of person climbs on a fucking dragon? A madman or a king?
We will now linger on Daenerys processing this profound statement with brooding and ominous music behind her, as if this is the first time she's ever had to deal with how sexism might impact her rule.
And yet again, you missed a further sin, which is that Tormund himself rode a dragon in Season 7, but acts as if he's never seen anyone do that before.
We did it. We faced those icy f***s.
My celebratory outburst after completing my Frosty the Snowman-inspired sex tape somehow makes its way into the episode.
That might have been the cringiest sex joke I've ever heard. Okay, the next 4 sins are just Discount Jeremy pointing things out on the screen, and I figured I didn't want to go through each one individually, so here's 4 sins.
He loved me, and I couldn't love him back.
I mean, mostly it's that we weren't even related in any way, so really what's the point? Now that we're done talking about the dead guy, I'd like to snog my nephew by the fire for a bit, okay?
CinemaSins used to be way better at these jokes back in the day. Seriously, earlier in their career, they used to have a few genuinely funny sins, but now we all just collectively cringe when they do shit like this.
I have to tell Sansa and Arya.
Sansa will want to see me gone and you on the Iron Throne.
The problem with this argument is that we know Jon has no intention of not telling Arya and Sansa, and Dany has no intention of backing down and risking her claim to the throne. This episode is filled with arguments that we have no chance of being invested in because 8 years of fantastic character development has already told us the outcome.
8 years? Are you sure about that? Maybe more like 4 or 5 years at best.
This post-coital shot of Jaime and Brienne is just here as a reminder that these two played sword and sheath together. No dialogue, just a few seconds of refresher since you've probably forgotten it happened among the other 25 minutes of absolutely nothing that's gone on in the episode so far.
He complained about there not being any dialogue to remind us of the fuck sesh between these two, so I'm forced to wonder, did he really want Jaime to roll over and say, "I really enjoyed having sexual intercourse with you, Brienne the Beauty, but you still can't hold a candle to my sister's tits"? Really?
And now more of your favorite part of Game of Thrones, strategizing over maps. Why get to the actual battle when you could have people just stand around talking about it instead?
I agree that the strategizing in Season 8 is atrocious because it makes no sense, but as for the earlier seasons when the strategizing did make sense, it was one of the stronger aspects of the show.
We need a word.
Of course you do. All anybody does in this episode is say words.
Discount Jeremy has the attention span of a toddler with ADHD cliché.
Arya.
We're family.
Arya Toretto here is suggesting what? That the four of them can take on the entire world? Lead the Seven Kingdoms from Winterfell? Why does she even care? Isn't she just trying to chase down all the people on her list?
So are you one of those people who actually supports Arya's character being an unfeeling killing machine? Great.
I need to tell you something. You have to swear you'll never tell another soul.
Jon, of course, spills the incestuous beans to Arya and Sansa, but he can't truly believe they're going to keep this to themselves, can he? Jon isn't stupid, and he is a great tactician, so what's the advantage to telling them at all if the goal is to make sure they follow Dany?
Jon is loyal to his family, which is why he tells them. Of all the things that happen in Season 8, this is one of the few that actually makes sense.
Kill a few hundred people, they make you a lord. Kill a few thousand, they make you king.
Kill the last season of an entire fantasy novel series, they make you a Star Wars director.
Okay, that was actually pretty funny.
No, my fighting days are done.
Because, of course, no one wants to see Bronn or Tormund kicking ass in the finale, so let's just sideline them entirely. We wouldn't want to risk having fun now, would we?
Why are you bringing Tormund into this? He wasn't even a part of this scene. He had nothing to do with the clip you just showed. I am so confused.
Take these broken wings and learn to fly again.
Discount Jeremy tries to sing in a video cliché.
Why her?
Sansa says this while literally looking at the most convincing two-winged fire-breathing reasons circling her.
Discount Jeremy is 100% one of those people who loves watching dragons fly around but hates scenes with intricate dialogue and plotting. Not that this season has any of the latter, but I'm just saying.
Also, this lineup of important goodbyes processional couldn't have been more conveniently arranged and timed if they were stationed and released by a wedding planner.
Everything wrong with Season 8 of Game of Thrones, ladies and gentlemen. The people Jon wants to say goodbye to are lined up, waiting for him to say goodbye.
Also, pretending like Sam hasn't already spilled the news to Gilly.
Pointing things out on the screen. The next several sins are about the attack on the Iron Fleet and are actually very well thought out and show that the TVSins writers are still capable of finding real sins. I'm taking one back because I actually enjoyed this section of the video.
Took 54 minutes of pointless conversation to get here, but we have made it to some action. I'd like to take a sin off, but my limit on pointless conversation to start a television show is 50 minutes.
Discount Jeremy sins something he likes cliché.
And also, the action lasts less than a minute. And if there's one thing I know for sure, it's that you never get credit if you last under a minute.
Man, I feel really bad for Aaron's wife.
This is without a single shadow of a doubt the most pointless did the falling thing kill a character, oh we don't know because it faded to black fake out cliche ever.
While I mostly agree with the rest of the sin, this isn't a cliché, so sin it I shall.
I don't think a is a true qualification, as I'm sure you'd agree.
Hey, don't make fun of him for not having a penis. There's an actual phrase for the kind of person that would do that. You taunt.
Unfunny joke is unfunny.
Show seems to want me to start feeling things for this incestuous lech who attempted casual child murder and still hasn't really done anything that wasn't self-serving. There is no moral tension here. Jamie even makes this point here in about 60 seconds. So what I still don't understand is this. If I know this, and you know this, and even Jamie knows this, how does the show not know this?
Okay, what do you mean he hasn't done anything that wasn't self-serving? Are we forgetting that time he jumped into a bear pit to save Brienne's life? Or that other time before that when he lied to discount Vargo Hoat about the Sapphire Isle to save Brienne from getting raped? Look, Jamie is far from perfect, but the fact of the matter is that a lot of fans have grown to like him despite themselves over the years, and that is because of the incredible character development of the earlier seasons.
You've always loved your children.
I just watched a dragonfly take a nosedive into my coffee and choose the sweet release of death by caramel latte rather than continue to watch its ancestors being disgraced by this drivel. That is where dragonflies come from. Right?
Unfunny joke is unfunny. Also, pronouncing caramel as caramel. I hate it when people do that because all you have to do is look at the spelling. It has an A there in the middle. It's caramel, you dumbasses.
Reign is over. Doesn't mean your baby has to die.
I've always found threatening a mother's child to be a really effective way of preventing combat. This character actually used to be smart, right? I'm not just imagining that.
And yet again, you're missing another sin, which is that Tyrion spills the beans about Cersei's pregnancy in front of Euron, and he does nothing about it aside from promptly forgetting about it.
While Dany kind of forgot about
the Iron Fleet and Euron's forces, they certainly haven't forgotten about her.